And now, your weather authority. Sponsored by the People's Bank, where people come first.
Well, good morning, South Mississippi. Your Mississippi Power Tropical Outlook for the next week still looking pretty inactive, with at least one area with a low chance of development over that time and basically no chance in the short term here over the next about 3 days. But we'll see how that one continues to shape up as it slowly drifts towards South Florida there across the Virgin Islands. But it's all about Tropical Storm Raphael, which did end up forming yesterday out of potential Tropical Cyclone 18. We see that one still working its way basically due northwest and pretty quickly across the Caribbean, across West Cuba there, and eventually up into the Gulf, where unlike every other storm that entered the Gulf from that area, is weakening as it moves further and further and towards the coastline there. So as we zoom in, you see it comes close enough to home that we may still see some impact from it, and we do still have our area right there in the very eastern edge of that wide cone of uncertainty there once we get to the end of the forecast. But it's rapidly weakening as well, which we talked about yesterday, starting to encounter some upper level and wind shear features that are really bringing it down in terms of organization. So dropping from just under hurricane status to not all that far away from not even being a tropical storm at that point anymore, as it continues to make its way towards missing us towards the south and west, at least with this current center forecast. You do see that line there, those timelines starting to hitch a little bit more towards the north. That's because it'll start interacting with that front moving in, so it's going to come down to a lot of last second features with that, where that front is, how this is doing organizationally, where it is in respect to the coastline at that time. So we'll see how that one's shaping up, but it is rapidly weakening. It may not even be a tropical system still by the time it ends up hitting any coastline there as it interacts with that front. So we'll keep an eye on it, keep letting you know if anything it looks like some gusty rain, which we could certainly use some rain. We're getting a few sprinkles here and there. Sun coming up to join us here earlier in the 6 o'clock hour thanks to the time change, looking very bright and hazy there with that humidity. Also, you're seeing those clouds. We'll continue to see those streaming across the area with every now and then getting a break where some sun shines through. That'll help us get up to our high of about 83 today, which is essentially a carbon copy of yesterday, with this front getting a little bit closer. And as that continues to happen, we'll continue to see that return flow. So southerly, southeasterly winds rushing to meet that front, bringing in more moisture, keeping cloud cover, and a not impossible chance of a stray sprinkle for today and tomorrow. Once we start heading further into Thursday, that rain chance gets a little bit higher as we start seeing this front moving a little closer, and then it'll have to come down to what happens also with that tropical system, which really won't be in the area until we start heading towards the end of the week, which is about the time this will start drifting towards us. So looking like we'll see some rain as we finish off this week associated with that front, and still even then pretty few and far between as far as those showers go. So outside of a stray sprinkle, nothing keeping you from doing that civic duty today. Will cool down a bit once that rain arrives, and then we do finally see some noticeable cooling into next week.